I tend to avoid interactions with women whenever possible. I no longer work closely with them unless there are other people present whom I trust. I avoid doing business with women, and I prefer not to be alone with them in the same room or take elevators alone with them. I also don't go out socially with women and actively seek male business partners. This decision is driven by my concerns about potential risks to my personal and professional life due to perceived moral concerns and vindictiveness among some women.
In today's video, we will discuss a movement that, despite its initial intentions, has arguably caused more harm than good: the Me Too movement. Similar to feminism, it's worth noting that Me Too isn't primarily about amplifying the voices of women. Instead, it has often been criticized for becoming an exclusive circle of privileged individuals who not only profited from it, but also exploited the victims for their own gain. The movement is accused of showing little concern for everyday people like Jesse from Texas, who suffered a traumatic experience while pursuing an acting career, potentially even exposing them to predators for personal gain. Critics argue that these elites held on to incriminating evidence for decades, only revealing it when they saw an opportunity to profit from it. The Me Too movement. For those unfamiliar with the Me Too movement, we'll provide an overview in this video. The Me Too movement emerged as an important awareness campaign addressing the critical issue of sexual harassment and abuse of women in the workplace. It gained widespread attention in 2017, particularly in response to reports of sexual misconduct by prominent American film producer Harvey Weinstein. The initial hope was that this movement would create a safer and more comfortable environment for women working alongside men. However, the trajectory of the movement has been more complex. As it gained momentum in 2017, numerous women used the hashtag to share their experiences of sexual harassment by colleagues, stepfathers, and others. Fast forward to 2019 to 2023, and it's evident that society has been deeply affected. False allegations have become increasingly common, leading to what seems like a gender war. Before I continue, I invite you to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you've found this video engaging so far. Returning to the topic at hand, the Me Too movement may have inadvertently spurred the men going their own way, MGTOW movement. Many men now understand that if they are alone with a woman, they are potentially giving her the power to ruin their lives. While most women would not misuse this power without cause, it's the exceptions that create an atmosphere of caution for men. Thus, men must be exceptionally vigilant when dealing with unfamiliar women. Critics have raised concerns about sexism in the Me Too movement, suggesting it sometimes functions as a shut up and listen campaign. Others have even dubbed it the "Me Too movement," or referred to it as a form of sexual hypocrisy. While the movement carries significant legitimacy, there are flaws in its portrayal and promotion. One significant issue is that some women believe men should only speak when echoing the sentiments of women. The problem with this is that men have their own experiences and stories to tell, even if they might not align with women's perspectives. These stories are just as valid. What men suffer. Let's consider the stakes. Imagine I'm the supervisor of a gaming company. If a woman working on an art piece or coding a module for our game underperforms, it's my responsibility to ask for better results. However, if she is dissatisfied, she can publicly share her version of events on social media, potentially portraying me in a negative light. This raises questions about how to navigate this delicate balance and address underperformance without risking allegations. The next day, I'll discover that my key card doesn't work. This revelation will catch me off guard because I'm not following Twitter. It turns out that my job status was announced 3 hours after a tweet, but I missed it. I not only lost my job, but my entire career was in jeopardy. The fear of facing an attack from an online brigade would likely make it nearly impossible for me to find future employment. It's bewildering to comprehend that my career could be obliterated without me having committed any wrongdoing. Moreover, the public response to men who deny allegations is often unforgiving. Denials are sometimes interpreted as confirming guilt, among other sentiments. But what if, during a company Christmas party, a female colleague, under the influence of alcohol, inappropriately touches me? Would her entire career be destroyed, turning her into a pariah in her industry? Would she receive death threats at her home? It seems that society tolerates harassment of men and objectification of them. In some instances, people encourage women to openly comment on male athletes' appearances, making statements like, "He has a better physique than the others." Just imagine the uproar if a man made such a comment about a female athlete, saying, "I don't know if she won, but she looks great." The scenario seems to be an ongoing shift from one state of unfairness to another without ever passing through a fair state. It's often acceptable to be rude or even violent towards men, with some considering it empowering for women. Dragging an entire company down because one feels underappreciated is seen as justified. It's as though all members of the company are regarded as sexist pigs and representatives of the patriarchy. For some, taking down the entire company seems perfectly acceptable. Just as some liberals aim to gradually ban all guns due to their fear of the harm one person can inflict, many men, whether they openly admit it or not, fear the potential of one woman who can wreak havoc on their lives. Real experiences. Now, listen to what this man has to say about the Me Too movement.
Given the way the Me Too movement has shown that some women can abuse it for personal gain, I've chosen to minimize my interactions with women as much as possible. I only collaborate with them when there are others present whom I trust and can vouch for their integrity. I've ceased doing business with women, avoid being alone with them in closed spaces like a room or an elevator, and refrain from going out with them socially. Instead, I actively seek out male business partners. This decision stems from my concerns about the potential risks to my life arising from the perceived lack of moral integrity and vindictiveness that some women may exhibit. It's essentially a form of self-preservation and life insurance to distance myself from such situations. This also extends to helping women in need. I've become cautious as showing assistance might lead to false allegations of sexual harassment, which could have severe consequences for me. I would recommend that other men take similar precautions by minimizing their interactions with women and encouraging them to handle their problems independently. The Me Too movement, in some respects, can be seen as a contemporary version of traditional chivalry. However, this comparison raises questions about whether it inadvertently perpetuates a form of misogyny. While the modern era might not involve holding doors open for women on the internet, there are still instances of preferential treatment in other domains. This double standard not only seems unfair to men, but also has the potential to infantilize women. Rather than portraying women as strong and independent, this approach implies that they are weaker than men. This perspective can be viewed as a setback for the woke movement and the Me Too movement, as it may not fully empower women as intended.
And that's it for today on Sigma Traits. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you can be the first to know when my new video drops. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.